All right, welcome back in. This is going to be another Druidic and Draconic reading of the energy, specifically the energy of the period of the between the new moon and full moon. I've been unsure exactly when to record these, and it seems pretty clear to me today. Spirit is saying, do it on Thor's days after the shift of the moon energy. So that is when I will be planning to conduct these readings of it's the lunar energy. It's also the solar energy coming in. We are facing east, which in this reading is associated with the cups energy, the waters. We live east to west. Swords energy, the air energy, the mental, the mind. We have emotion, we have the mind, we have the heart mind. We live east to west while also grounding into the earth. That is where life goes to rest, is what we bring forth out of, is where we come from in these bodies, where we go back to in the cycle of life and rebirth. The south, the earth, the disk's energy, and of course the north, not truly last, but the fire, the flame of spirit, the flower of the flame of the flower of all life. It's in all that is below, and all that is below also reflects the above, the fire energy. And so we can consider this circle open. This is an invitation. These readings are, like really any readings I do, are not going to be like any typical reading. This practice and these readings specifically are for those who feel strongly their connection to the Earth Mother, the Earth energy, strongly connected to pulling down the flames, learning how do we pass the flames, how does spirit come down and go through both the water and the air and the water. There's a balance here, a balance that has been imbalanced for so long. And then how do we ground a new world, a new life for ourselves individually, new lives collectively, a new world super collectively? How do we do that? And this reading is just a check-in. What are the energies right now? It is also a draconic reading because my understanding of the tarot, my understanding of the four energies reflected in the tarot, some would call them elements, I think of them as energies. Well, that's about human becoming, and the special thing about this planet is we are building souls, and we are building conglomerations of souls, and those larger groups of souls, those oversouls, at some level can be considered a draconic soul, a larger soul, and that is what we're building here. And we can do that consciously, and that's what this reading is about. It's about increasing that consciousness of this process, of our place in it, the current status of it. It is Druidic, not because I am of a particular Druidic order or indeed trained or initiated directly in such an order, but because the energies of the Druidic orders that, historically were supplanted by Christianity in much of the world, and specifically in my thinking and my connection in the European world, especially maybe the Northern European world, but throughout the European world. Those energies were defeated or overthrown by Christianity because they themselves had become imbalanced. They themselves had lost the plot, just as Christianity has now largely lost the plot, getting too wrapped up in things like bogus politics and not doing the actual work that Jesus came to do, which was to feed the hungry, heal the sick, take care of people, and talk back to the people in power, the hypocrites of his time. And there you have it. So without further pontificating, hierophantizing, if you will, let's get into the reading here. I will be pulling some Futhark runes. So, do you typically breathe over the runes? The breath of the ancestors is in us. You hear a lot of talk about charging up runes, charging up tarot cards, and one way to do that is simply to know your own connection to your ancestors, to breathe out. Their breath is in you, their breath is in me. Alright, I'm going to take one for the Cups energy, one for the Swords energy, one rune for the Earth energy. I got two for the Wands energy, the Fire, the Spirit. Flows through all, and I will take maybe not one, we'll see, something. That one wants to come out for the Pyramid energy. The energy of the sun coming in, and I dropped a rune. Hold on. So an early indication of energy here. The Urus came in. And wanted to speak ahead of time. And this is a reminder to me to speak of things that have been coming in. The Urus energy, the energy of the oxen, the energy of work, the energy of hauling things, of plowing the fields, of doing the work, of value found in the work itself. And this is an encouraging rune in this moment as we've passed beyond the immediate time of the solar eclipse, and already you may have felt some of those energies fading. It may have been, for some of us, may have been a very energetic time, a time of a lot of downloads coming in, a lot of new energies, a time of renewal, a time of making sense of things. Could have been, might also have been a time more of mystery, of almost like a held breath. And then the eclipse happened and you could breathe again, but now what? And what's been coming in strongly today is to remember the marker on the road that is that eclipse, because though the energy can feel like it fades, we absorb it and we carry it on with us. The earth itself absorbs it. It's still with us, that energy. And well, bluntly, it's easy, very easy to then go back to regular life. It's very easy to lose sight. And for instance, even on a day like today, to get up in the morning and say, catch the news and see a lot of negativity there. And this is one of the biggest dangers for those of us who consider ourselves light workers or star seeds, those of us who are working with the energies of the beyond, and our intent is to pull something in new and ground it into the earth, to not just to spiritually bypass the ills of the world, but to actually make changes in our own lives, for the lives of the people around us, and for everyone in the world. So we can get very discouraged, and it is the energy of discouragement that may be most dangerous for us. And this rune says, no, don't be discouraged, do the work, keep doing the work, keep plowing the field. Also, the Urus rune, this is a rune about teamwork. You don't do it all by yourself. It's a team of oxen pulling the plow around. It's a team of oxen, maybe a large team, maybe not just 2, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 8, pulling that heavy wagon, right? Okay, pulling that grounded boat that's for some reason been taken out of the water all these years. I'm thinking of Viking longships. We've found Viking longships in various places on land, buried in clearly ceremonial, ritualistic fashion. There's almost a sense of plowing up and pulling out such a ship and pulling it maybe on logs, on rollers, to the waters and setting sail, of not staying stuck in what doesn't feel good or right about this world, of realizing that there are voyages that can be made, and of actually making those voyages, doing that work. So already then, a positive message coming through, a message of encouragement. And oxen are strong, but they have to rest. You might be in a rest period. If you feel inactive, if you feel inactivated, don't be concerned with that. The energies will shift again. Take your rest, and don't concern yourself overmuch with the fears and worries and the news, the tales of war and outrages that are being perpetrated by governments. Those are real things. I'm not saying treat them as if they're not there. I'm not saying to bypass them. to ignore them. Again, we do not want to do that. There's a balance here. Remember, we live from east to west, and we live bringing the fire down and anchoring it into the earth. There's always balance here. As above, so below. As below, so above. East to west. Day turns to night, turns back to day. Okay? Remember all of this. Strengthen yourself by any little ritual that you come to that will remind you of these energies, whether it's candle work, planting things, growing things, doing work in your neighborhood or in some natural space, an unbuilt space. I'm thinking we're all of nature. Everything is nature. There's no actual divide. Human beings are of nature, and even the biggest cities we build are then natural in some way. We are the critter that builds cities, but in those places we can take better care. We can go out, we can pick up the trash that, I don't know about anyone else, but since COVID has hit, nothing is clean anymore. Everything has trash littering it everywhere I go. And this is something that has been coming through. One of the simplest and best things that we can do is get together in groups and just clean up our neighborhoods, clean up our roadways, clean up around our waters. And we do not have to wait for government to do this. We do not have to wait for government to start such things or government programs. This Urus, this is about us doing the work, those of us who care, coming together, teaming up, doing the work, whatever it is in our hearts to do, and not waiting around. We are both the team pulling the plow, and we also, though, we must be, and that is that east to west, and then but the energy coming in, there's a driver of the team, right? Someone has to have the reins, and that is us, that is all of us, and we pull in the energy, we pull in that solar energy, we pull in the energy of the stars, our ancestors, we pull in the energy of the moon, the water, the earth mother, mysteries that we can't fathom. We don't need to fathom, just pull in the energy, anchor the energy in practical ways. That's the earth that we need to build. An earth where people aren't going hungry, where people who are ill can get healing, true healing, not maintenance prescriptions. And debt, and so on. All right, Spirit is saying it's time to move on. So here we go. We'll drop the runes over the pyramid, and we'll see what energies are coming out. A lot of energy in that. Wow, it was like the runes just flew out of my hands as if I'd thrown them. That's what it felt like. Okay. Well, let's start in the east. And we have the Urus right there. We have the Urus. It's almost pointed to the camera. It's saying, yes, all of that. That's already been said. But it's particularly almost directly between the wands, the flame, the fire, the spirit energy. And again, spirit is in all, so don't get confused here, but we're talking about a certain rawness of spirit that comes from above, right? That it lives in that wands energy, that flame energy. And it's almost right between the two, the water and the flame. So we're being encouraged to really take this seriously, to be passionate. Okay. with that, lying between the cups energy, the waters, and the earth energy, the Vunjo. And this rune, this is a rune of joy. So, I mean, that's its major contribution here. This is not to be drudgery. There's joy here. Joy in doing what may be done. Making those plans, following our heart, our passion, and grounding those things into reality, actually doing those things. And I have to tell you, I've been receiving this for myself, and so I must do it. There's, in some way or another, in the neighborhood I live in, there will be organizing to clean things up, because I walk around and it's a mess everywhere, and things don't get cleaned up around the roadways, on the streets. These are the things that we must do to show that we care, to make it real. It's not enough to sit on our phones, watch awful things happening around the world, and lament those awful things, and then sit there and do nothing. What can we do? Take care of business in our own backyards. That's what's coming through. All right, and that's the main energy connected to the earth energy, right? It was lying pretty much in the middle between the water and the earth energy. Joy in nature. Take care of nature, take care of business, take care of ourselves down here, take care of our world, take care of the water, take care of the soil, take care of the air. Again, yes, government is responsible for a lot of these things, but it is time for people to get our butts in gear, to stop waiting for that, to start doing practical things. And some of that might be putting a lot of pressure on. That things be made right in our localities, in our regions, our countries, nations, and in the larger regions of the world, continentally even, and of course even worldwide. But this is the energy that's coming through. And so we also then have, going to move along the line, actually, the Tiwaz rune. The Tiwaz rune is, it's the rune of Tyr. It's the sky god. It is a rune of self-sacrifice, but not pointlessness. It is directed. No, all the runes came in upright in this reading. It's the first time I've done this reading where that has happened, ever. That says something important to me. There's a lot of positive energy here. Perhaps it is the solar energy having come in from the eclipse, and many of us were watching it, many of us were paying attention to it. I myself didn't go out in it that much. The energy was so strong. It came in through, the windows and through the roof. There was no getting away from it. It was a powerful energy. And this Tiwaz rune is pointing directly at the sword's energy. It's right up against what I think of as the world tree. It's interesting, this isn't the original little log-looking bit of branch that I used for to symbolize the world tree. I had started to put notches on that one. I do not know where it is. It is somewhere. It'll turn up eventually, I believe, but unless I lost it somewhere. I may have taken it on a walk and maybe lost it from my pocket. I don't know. but I had started to put notches on it according to certain trees that I had met. There are certain trees when you go out in nature that, again, out in nature, when you go out in the world, outside of your house, there are certain trees that have more personality, let's say, and they have things to say. And so it's right up against, the Tivaz rune is right up against that. Right up against that representation of the world tree. And I don't know, well, I do know why, but it is in a way maybe an odd thing to have this representation here next to the sword's energy. And I think the reason for it, which I've never really thought about until now, is that we have had this imbalance. The sword's energy, this energy of everything being crystallized and organized and harnessed and exploited and used, and if it's not useful, then we don't think about it. And useful only means economically useful, and economically useful only means a corporation can profit from it. That has gripped our whole world, that energy. So I see now that is why I place the world tree right up against this stone that represents the sword's energy, with all of its little quartzy, crystally bits. And yeah, this is saying we need to get a higher view, the sky god's view, Tyr's view. We need to be ready to sacrifice for our world, for Gaia, Mother Earth, and that's not, you're sacrificing yourself for yourself when you do that, for your children and your grandchildren and so on. That's what we're talking about. And again, I leave these very open. Sometimes I'll give suggestions of what I think these things could mean, but I don't know what this will mean for everyone, so I'm going to leave it very open and move on to the next rune, which keeps coming out, the Berkano, the birch goddess, Berchta. She keeps coming out. Her energy has been in every reading for as long as I can remember. And here, she is kind of got her back turned to the sword's energy and is looking the other way, which I think is really interesting. This rune is giving me a sense of a rejection here of the way things are, of the current way of thinking about these things. So we have this energy of earth energy coming in and being thought about again, being incorporated again into our thinking. And then we have this energy of, yes, there's renewal, but I'm waiting until I see it. I got my back turned. But also, the birch goddess is looking at the pyramid, which is where the light comes in and it scatters. And the light falls on everyone. So yeah, this is what I'm getting. It's somewhat playful, to be honest, but it's also incredibly serious at the same time. So there's some humor here, but there's a seriousness of this has to be made right. It has to be made right. And it's directly across from the Urus. Again, the Urus and the Runjo, the rune of joy in doing this work, grounding it into place. And then there's a sense of circularity here, of the energy coming down. We are aligning more with that cups energy, with that water energy, with that intuition that's of the heart, not always just the mind. We have to be careful of that. It's the heart mind. Our intuition can be too focused on the mind and not enough on the heart. Not everyone, there's a lot of emphasis on opening your third eye, opening your third eye. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm saying you can get stuck there. The whole point of the chakra energy system, way of looking at our energy centers, is the energy needs to flow. It needs to flow, and there's flow here. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're being encouraged to. And again, even though she's got her back turned in a way, what she's doing is she's showing us, okay, this is what I want to see. I want to see water energy. I want to see the cups energy. That has to get back in the picture. And as that flows back around and becomes incorporated into our way of thinking rationally, thinking with our minds, of crystallizing things into a new order. I said that word, new order. Everyone's worried about the Great Reset. The New World Order has been a scary thing in my family for decades, right? The order that grips the earth is the order that we earthlings accept, often too passively. Again, there's some sense of sacrifice here. I don't know what that's going to mean. I'm gonna move on. Here we have the Wraitho. Again, upright, headed almost directly toward the wand's energy, the fire energy. And that's the sense that I get. That's heading that way. It's the idea of the chariot almost in the tarot. The energy of moving purposefully, of having loaded up the wagon. We know where we're going. We know why we're going there. Purposefulness. I'm getting the picture of riding off into the sunset, riding into the flames, riding following that energy. I'm hearing, don't let the sun set. So even though the eclipse has passed us by, don't let the sun set. Remember that energy, follow it. It's almost like getting a scent of something, only here it's a sense of the light, a sense of that energy, and following it, pursuing it, not letting it out of our sight, within view always. There's a lot of support then coming through here. This very much is feeding into the whole energy. Okay, we're getting more energy, we're getting more energy, we're getting more energy. And then the last rune here. The Manaz. The Manaz. This is humanity. This is the human family. And it's here above the wand's energy, above everything in this reading. You know, this is a 2D surface. If we had this represented more three-dimensionally, somehow, you know, the wand's energy would be above, right? In a way. And we can't always see directly what it is we're building above. This whole process, this whole circularity is building something. It's building a new humanity. It's building a new human soul, a new human possibility, a new dragon, if you will, a new oversoul. That's what's coming through here. All right. And I just think that's important to keep in view. Sometimes when we're doing the Urus work, we lose sight of joy, and it's just hard work. We need to keep in view what it is that as below, so above. Even if we can't see it right now, we're building a different future. All right, so pull a few cards, generally one card per energy, cups, swords, discs, and wands. So first we'll get sometimes I look at the general energy, but I think we pretty much got a general energy here. It seems pretty clear to me. Yeah, and these cards are starting to speak. Okay. Oh my goodness, that card is all but on top. That was interesting. I usually cut the deck. I'm being told no, do not cut the deck. Okay. Cups energy. 2 of Wands. With the Reitho and the Fehu. Those 2 runes are prominent here. 2 of Wands in the Cups energy, leaning up against the walnut now. And for me, the 2 of Wands is always a sense of pathfinding, of choosing. It is a sense of balance, of picking the path between the 2 wands. And unlike the 3 of Wands, it's picking it because that is the right path, not because of a destination. The 3 of Wands speaks more about a destination, a specific destination. The 2 of Wands here is speaking about picking the path because it's the right path. And here we have the Reitho again. So we have getting our wagon, getting the team hitched up, getting our supplies or goods or whatever it is into the wagon. And then we have the Fehu, which is a sense of reward for work that we've done, right? So it's a sense of what I'm getting is we've been doing a lot of work. This is encouragement for those of you really connected to the water energy, to the cups energy, to healing. You've been doing it. Like Fehu says, it's there, you did it. You've earned it. It's happened. Be at peace. This has been coming through a lot lately. It's like we can get too wrapped up in healing to where it almost becomes a fetish. I gotta heal, I gotta heal, I gotta heal, I gotta heal. Whoa, you healed. Like, there might still be a scar there, but you healed, right? Like, learn to enjoy that. Learn to accept that. You've healed. It's okay. And then go. Do. Take that. Take what you've gotten from that. And that doesn't mean necessarily, money or houses and cars and stuff like that. It's more about your. This isn't a room that speaks so much about the ancestral, but that is what's coming through here. It's the ancestral you've reclaimed. It's your rightful place in your own life that you've reclaimed through that healing, through getting in touch with that water energy. All right, next card. And this is the card that demanded to be where it is. It is the Ten of Wands, and it has Odin. He is viewing with his magical far-seeing eye. There's a sense of as above, so below here. There's a sense of the world tree, of the Kabbalah. There's a lot going on here. And this is in the swords energy. The swords energy. 2 algaes runes, one reflected below, one above. We have the sense of the, well, it's an echo almost of the chakra system here. We have raw power. Air energy is strong here. Odin's 2 ravens make an appearance. And so what's coming through now, something that's been coming through, is a focus on the air energy. What I've been hearing is 2023 and the years leading up to that has been about healing. Healing at the intuition level, healing at the emotional level, that water, the cups. We're being called to bring that energy east to west, east to west. Bring that energy into the arena of the swords, the air, the mind, the thoughts. This is about integration. Can we bring that in? Can what I've learned about who I am and my ancestry and my star ancestry and everything about that and the ways I've learned to live differently, to act differently, to be differently in the world, can that be not just something that is all in the water energy and the touchy-feely, which is not bad, but that it can get stuck there? Can we move it over into this arena of the rational, the arena of, okay, but what are we doing with that? What are we gonna do, right? See, we need both of these energies so that the energy doesn't get caught up and it flows down and we ground it. And there's powerful support here for anyone working in this energy. I've been seeing a couple of readers online talking about these types of things, and this is what is needed. How do these things actually work is one of the things, right? How does the esoteric actually work? How do the 4 energies work together? But also practicality. Swords energy at its best looks at a situation and goes, okay, well, what do we really need to do here? And then does it, right? It organizes things and it gets things done. So we need that energy. I need that energy. It's an energy calling out to me. It's an energy that I've been told I have to work with and develop. And it's coming through here strongly. In the earth energy, we have the 7 of discs, with another 2 Oz. 7 of discs with a 2 Oz. Again, this rune of the Sky God. This is a rune of getting a higher viewpoint. This is a warrior, as if he's selecting what shield he's going to go use when he goes out to battle. There's options here. The 7s for me are always about having options and picking. And it's not always about finding the best one, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's just the one that suits, right? A particular person, a particular need, a particular situation. This is about, and again, this isn't the earth energy, this is about us not being attached to particular outcomes in our cups energy, in our swords energy. No, it's discs, it's earth energy in the earth. We had wands energy in the cups, we had wands energy in the swords. Here we have earth energy in the earth. And that's important here. Earth energy in the earth. What does the earth need? What do our children need? What do our grandchildren need? What do we want the world to be? Do we want wars? Do we want to keep supporting governments that are beholden to weapons manufacturers who just want to get everybody into wars so they sell more weapons? I mean, that's literally what's happening right now. It's literally what's going on. And yes, do people on different sides of a battle, do they have animosity? Do they have things they're fighting for? Yes, absolutely. But we don't have to do it that way, right? And we know we have leaders who have abandoned an attempt to do it any other way. The war machine is on the move. This is a concern. This is a concern. Gaia is very clear about this right now. It is a concern, and it's not something, though, that we're to be fearful about. It's a flip side to every concern, right? Yes, there's a real concern there, but don't be worried about it. You know, talking about world wars, are we gonna have another world war? Again, it's everywhere today, and when it's being chattered about, don't let yourself get pulled down into the dumps. Keep your frequency high. Remember, there are options we can choose. There are things we can choose. It takes time, okay? That's the thing we have to remember. We can get so discouraged when things don't change quickly in today's world where we're used to everything just changing because we make it change, right? Just tap something on a screen and it does something. We're just used to that immediate feedback. That's not how the world works. Change in the world takes time. This is why we don't trust it when somebody's like, oh, I'll change, as if they're just going to change themselves in a minute to be exactly what you need and want them to be. That's always BS, right? It never works that way, ever. It's the same way with the world. We're not just going to change like that, right? And again, we can get so discouraged when we want that and we're not seeing that. And this is speaking loud and clear about, okay, don't focus on that. Bring the fire down. The fire passes through the water and the air, and we start deciding how to ground a different world into place, one little thing at a time. Sometimes medium things at a time, sometimes occasionally a big thing at a time. There's going to be opportunities for those big things. Start by looking for the little things in your own neck of the woods that you can do, because that's going to change things. It's going to draw attention. It's going to get more people involved. See, people are discouraged because they never see anything around them change. Think locally, act globally, or I don't know, think globally, act locally. That was the whole thing, right? In some sense, that's true, right? Do that. Do think globally, but actually, no, think locally and act locally. Just start there. I feel like that's what this is saying. this isn't the whole battle. This is just choosing a shield. Take the part you can take, make a choice. Use what you've got. You've got 7 shields, you've got enough. This is not a time you're saying, oh, I can't do anything. Yes, you can. You already have enough. If you're watching this and this resonates with you, you have enough to start doing something. What is it you thought to do? Do it. Next energy, the Wands energy. Here we have the 2 of Swords with the Tiwaz and the Isa rune. The Tiwaz coming out again. Again, the higher perspective. This is a card of choice. 2 of Swords. Choosing. What will we choose? What will we choose? What will we choose? It's in the fire energy, in the Wands energy. There's power in our choices. The more choices we can start to be aware of, the more we align, the better. And there's a sense here of we can stay stuck in the Isa. The Isa is a rune I consider to be the Ice Age rune. When you're in an Ice Age, you stay in your cave, you send out hunting parties, you send out parties to gather wood, and you stay in your cave, right? When it finally gets a little bit warmer, you go out and you forage, and then you get back to your cave. That kind of sense. Now, do I know that's what happened historically? No, I don't know for sure. But I can imagine there were times in human history where that was the thing. That's how it worked. That Isa rune, though, can be too hunkered down, right? Somebody goes out and is like, oh, it all melted and it's great out there. It's green and growing. No, I'm going to stay in the cave. I'm going to stay in the cave. No. Go outside the cave. You're up in the mountains. You're in a cave. Go outside. Look out. What do you see? Higher perspective. All right, one last card. What is on the bottom of the deck? We have the World. The World card with the Hagalas rune. The Hagalas is a rune of hailstorms, but it can also be after the storm. It can be the fertility that comes after a storm. On this card, we have something like a troll, but he's got growing things all over him. And he's walking along with the sun behind him in a direction. His heart is lit up green. His heart is lit up green. Focus on the green and the growing things. In our choices, focus there. All right. We're going to leave this here. It's gotten pretty long. Thank you for listening. Thank you for considering. Thank you for subscribing, commenting, sharing with others. I know it's a different kind of reading. It's a little bit long, a little bit slow. This is what I've been called to do. All right. I'm Jared Randall. Thanks. Much love. Peace. All the light you can stand.